Anime for Blondes.
How are they gonna animate a lot of this?
The epilogue?
Or should we just start at the epilogue?
Action!
Hello, I'm Becca.
And I'm Allie.
And welcome to Anime for Blondes.
It's a girly pop podcast made for girls, gays, lays, and blondes.
The blondes is crucial.
And book nerds.
And book nerds. You guys are always welcome here, but especially today.
Because today, it's our book club!
Yay!
Today we're talking about the Apothecary Diaries Light Novel 5.
And it was a doozy.
It was... there was a lot.
There was
a lot.
A lot. I'm wondering how much of season 3 this is going to cover.
I think will be the first core.
Okay.
So far, that's what it seems, right? Like a core per light novel.
I need to check. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well...
Or I guess so, because if it was up to light novel 4, then that maths out.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. We have a lot to talk about, and we have some questions.
We have some questions. Thank God we have our special guest, Yemna, coming on. You guys know her and love her. I actually, after reading the epilogue, the infamous epilogue,
yeah.
If you guys watched last episode, she told us to make sure to look up the different translations, because there was a little bit lost in translation there. And so I Googled a translation for that, and what do you know? One of the first results on Google is our expert herself, Yemna.
Of course, naturally. So yeah, we're really excited, and now we'll just get into that conversation. This was insane, actually.
This was crazy.
It's a good one.
Because at first it's normal, like, day-to-day, like, little things, but then there's a tiger/assassination attempt. Not tiger.
It was a lion.
It was a lion.
It was a lion, yes, at the banquet, and Lishi was doused in this really nasty smelling perfume. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love this light novel.
It was really good. There was I tried to be like all professional English majory and put down like tabs at interesting parts. That eventually fell off, but it was just like that thing again where I feel like reading it, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see where we're going.
Yeah.
With all of this.
I'm starting to understand the plot a little bit more.
Yeah. And like, the lion was just like so extra, and then it's like not only is the lion there for entertainment, but also it was a setup to probably kill Lady Lishu again. Like, how many times are we gonna go after this kid?
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited to see the whole banquet animated. Like, that is gonna be crazy.
That's also, how are they gonna animate a lot of this? How are we gonna portray this happening? All of this.
True.
Like the epilogue or the...
The epilogue.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Should we just start at the epilogue?
Should we start at the thing that everyone wants to talk about?
Maybe. I mean, the Apothecary Diaries, I think, does have like more of a mature rating, so I feel like they could absolutely get away with doing what happens in the epilogue and hopefully doing it in a way that's more true to kind of how I think it was originally intended to be versus how the English translation is.
Yeah, the English translation is like, well, my interpretation is just like, first of all, I didn't think it was that crazy in the first place, but the way the narrator person telling the story, being like, hey, so just so you know, this is just Maomao remembering her training. This isn't her fault. You can't really blame her. Just like the narrator itself being like, hey, like, Maomao doesn't really want to do this. This is just gut instinct. And I didn't like that.
Yeah. I feel like I really read that from, like, a purity culture POV, in that, like, I've had, like, thoughts like that when I was growing up and having my sexual awakenings, where I'd be like, well, this is just, like, not my fault. Like, this is not actually, like, kind of that type of thing. I felt like Maomao was telling herself that. Like, well, this is just my training. Like, this isn't anything crazy.
Yeah. Just like, what translation did you find? Because we found one, and I was like, it doesn't feel like that different to me.
Yeah, I found one on Reddit, and it was basically the same, just kind of felt softer and more romantic, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, where are the translations? I have them. You know what? I'll send you links to them after, because I feel like right now I'm trying to find them will be a bit of a mission. But yeah, I read a couple of them. I've also read ones where it's like the like the Spanish translation translated back into English, like that type of thing, where we're seeing different perspectives. And that last part that you guys are talking about, where like she's like, oh, like Maomao couldn't help but like doing this, the way that it comes across in at least the alternative translations I've read is like Maomao didn't need to be doing all that to get away from Jinshi. She absolutely could have just booked it and ran or shoved him off and ran, but it's like, oh, it's not Maomao's fault. Maomao couldn't help it. She just had to use these skills that she learned in the Pleasure District. And the kind of implied idea here is that like maybe she did kind of want to try doing this and that it wasn't just about getting away from Jinshi. Because honestly, there was many ways that Mama could have gotten away from Jinshi in that moment after like things had started to happen that didn't involve her Frenching the man. So
No, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Frenching? Is that... Oh. Oh, is that what was happening?
yes, she was French kissing him. That is what was going on.
I feel like was there a little hand stuff going on?
That's what I thought.
Or I was wondering if he's just so inexperienced that maybe, you know.
Yeah.
He's kind of quite inexperienced.
Well, and that brings me to another thing we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was texting her about how he like specifically likes virgins, and she was like, that kind of hurt my feelings, like he shouldn't be with any other women. And I was like,
being crazy, by the way.
But I was like, I think he says he wants virgins because he doesn't actually want to do anything, and so if he gets virgins, then he like doesn't actually have to
perform
in
any way.
So I don't know, how did you take that?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning when he visits Maomao and she like sets him up with like tries to set him up with the bath, and then he's like, will it stop at the massage? And she's like, well, probably not. How did you take that? Like, do you think he is getting down, or I don't know?
Because my stupid, like, prude brain was, like, offended for no reason, like, on behalf of Mama. I'm like, okay, I shouldn't be judging him for, like, having experience with other women. But no, you're not allowed to do that.
So in the beginning of Light Novel 6, you get his reflections on what happened in this moment, in this scene. But what I will say is that he's not playing the field. He doesn't have any experience. So that's what's happening here, is like he doesn't really want to have experience with anybody who isn't Maomao. So, and the thing is, like, he couldn't really, right? Like when you're thinking about the life that he's lived, he's been a eunuch, right? Like on paper. And so that requires a certain amount of like discretion. And also Jinshi didn't really grow up with other people. I think that's something else to note about him, is like he didn't grow up with like friends or even like a ton of like noble kids as playmates. Like the only person that he really grew up around was Basen. Like that's his one friend. Like this is his bestie for the restie. But other than that, like he doesn't really have anybody. And yeah, he doesn't have any experience. He's also like not that old either, right? Like
no,
he is
he's 20.
19, maybe 20 at this point. Like with where we're at, he's only like 2 years older than Maomao. So he's got way less experience, and he's seen far less than Mama has, given like where she grew up.
Okay.
That's what I had assumed. And then when you were like, he shouldn't be with any women, I was like, I thought he wasn't.
No, he's not, and he doesn't want to be. That's and that's why he gets mad at her too for being like, oh well, Lishu makes the most sense, like as a match, and he's just like, you were also a contender
for real right now.
Yeah, and I think that's also a lot of what this book is Maomao like having to grapple with the fact that like this kind of life that she wants to live as being this like humble Pleasure District apothecary is a life that she's living on borrowed time. Like even Riku-sen, when they're dancing, is like, you're here for a reason. Like you're not just here to be like Lahan's assistant or because the prince like wants you here. Like you're here because you're a daughter of the Law family and you're a potential contender at this banquet. So
he calls her the princess of the Law clan, and she's like, no, literally, no, I'm not. I'm just here to taste poison.
Well, and her like denial and also just complete obliviousness was off the charts this book. Like it was the worst it has ever been. Like I could not. She sees the hairpin, says, wow, I almost thought that looked just like the hairpin Jinshi gave me, but it must not be from him. What?
But must be from a random, like, other lady that was hanging out.
She's sitting at the dinner table with all the other women that are trying to marry Jinshi, and she's like, wow, look at all these other women who are trying to marry Jinshi, and I'm
me.
here too.
And me.
For some reason.
Yeah,
Like,
she's a silly girl in this one, especially because a lot of this book, like building up to that epilogue, is her and Jinshi having honestly the most time, like on one-on-one time they've had together, and I think them genuinely becoming friends. Like I think
yes.
one of the best moments I think that they have is like towards the beginning when they're in the quack doctor's village and like they're just messing around with the makeup that she's putting on him each day, and then Boston comes in and doesn't know what's going on and just looks like Jinshi has blood all over him, so they both tackle him to keep him from like causing a fuss.
Screaming
And
or
it's
whatever. I
yeah.
literally put that down as my favorite Maomao and Jinshi moment because I
Yeah.
was like, because not only was it called out as like the most in sync they'd ever been,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
like I can't wait to watch that moment play out. They're just
Mm-hmm.
like giggling, kikiing.
Well, and that's the thing is it's like I think we see a lot of them like working together, being good like investigators together. We see
Yeah.
a lot of them having these like heated romantic moments, like these stolen moments, but we haven't seen a lot of them like getting to just be like kids together, like these young adults that are like
Mhm.
just living their lives. And like when she just was like, then I grabbed some of the paint and started painting it on myself. I was like, what? This is
Just
so
for fun.
uncharacteristic of them around
To
each
play?
other. Yeah, to
'Cause they
just
don't
play and have
play.
fun. And yeah, I am so excited to see that animated. They definitely like, I feel like this book, they were just got to be normal together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's not pretending to. Okay, I guess one could say she is still his servant or whatever, but he's not like officially her boss anymore.
Well, and like the dynamic that they're pretending to be is that he is the servant. And so they
Yeah.
kind of get to be on this like more equal
Equal.
grounds while they're playing this like role.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I thought
it's
it
a
was
lot of
really
fun.
cute also in the Quack Doctor's village where first of all, challenging people to a drinking game. Okay, girl.
It's also a
But
great moment.
She's wild.
she's crazy for that, but then
And
he's
consults
like,
nobody, like just does it.
yeah, and she's like, and Boston's like trying to say something, and Jinshi's like, shut up.
Well,
Let
and
her cook.
I'm like, what trick does she have up her sleeve? No trick.
No trick. She's just gonna drink the alcohol.
She's just actually crazy.
And then he's like, this girl's worth 300,000 whatever their unit of currency is. Like,
Just putting the like purse
actual
down.
money on the table, and it's like, first of all, you're not supposed to have that right now on
Like
you.
you're gonna be robbed.
And then they do, and then they are, but except no, they're not
Yeah,
robbed.
they're not robbed.
But anyways, I love how much we got to see them just like it felt like they got to be more of themselves than we've been able to see them before. But it was still like the vibes were still very Apothecary Diaries like original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like worried that it was gonna feel like an entirely different story now that the dynamic is different.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't. Like the vibes were vibing. I was still enjoying it.
I'm very interested to see where we go from. This is like the most he's ever said, like, I like you. I want to be with you, basically. Like,
oh my god.
I'm like, where do we go from here? Is Maomao gonna panic? Is she now gonna realize she does have feelings? Or like, what's the dynamic gonna be in volume 6?
Yeah, we were just listening to Gold Rush by Taylor Swift.
Yes, this is Maomao, like, to Jinshi in this book is Gold Rush.
You gotta listen to it if you haven't. I don't remember if you said that if you're familiar with Taylor Swift discography.
I've listened to Gold Rush. I feel like I just don't analyze her music as much as like the Swifties do, but I do know it. I've listened to Gold Rush.
Yeah, like that is just like so her. in
It
this
is
book.
like bar for bar.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
It is like so unbelievable and untouchable is
And
Jinshi
untouchable.
to Maomao.
Mhm.
But we'll talk about that later. Should we get into our discussion questions?
Yeah. Oh, also, we did want to see if you were able to clear up one more
Oh,
thing.
true.
About FRIEREN, right?
Yes.
And the training. Okay, how is FRIEREN training Maomao? Like, what were they having Maomao do to train? In the epilogue, right, when Maomao is thinking about, like, her training and stuff, she's like, the narrator's like, FRIEREN had Maomao train for hours on end until FRIEREN was satisfied with her work, until, like, Maomao had, like, tears in her eyes. Like, what was she
Yeah,
doing?
we're like,
what were we doing?
We're like, is there, like, what's the deal with this? What are
What's-
they trying to get us to think was happening?
Yeah, because I was like, okay, that's a little sus, but like, I don't want to assume the worst.
Yeah, it's French kissing. Like I think
Okay.
that's
So
why
we're
like,
meant
I
to
said the
believe they're
extent of it
practicing
is-
kissing on
The
each other.
narrator, okay, she's being a little freaking dramatic for my taste. Why are we being so dramatic about that?
It really reads like much darker.
Yeah. The vibes are way darker, so it's like, I get how someone is reading this and is like, whoa, what are we doing here? Because now all of a sudden it's like, is Maomao being just like constantly traumatized?
I do think she is being constantly traumatized, but
Yeah, no, but it is just French kissing. Like I think that's the
Thank
kind of
you.
technique, and it's not the only technique they've taught her. Like even like when she gives Li Hua that advice in season one, that's stuff that her older sisters have told her. Because I think the other thing is that that was potentially going to be a path for Mao Mao, right? Was to eventually work
Right.
the brothel, and like that's just kind of the world that she grew up in. So kind of important to know a thing or two about it to be able to get by. But I think in general, the light novels make things a little darker and like a little more real and gritty when it comes to just the Rear Palace, the Pleasure District. That feels a little less like I think light than like the anime makes a lot of this stuff come across.
Yeah. But now I'm just like, is that all she taught the I know it's not, but like when she's
Yeah.
talking to the consorts and it's like very dramatic, like wow, she's teaching them these like filthy, dirty tricks, and it's like, here's how you French.
That I don't know why that reminded me, but we do also get in, like, we get some an interesting scene of the Emperor and Gaoshen talking, and then we also get an interesting part of the epilogue with Aduo thinking about her relationship with the Emperor.
Ariana,
And
what are you doing here?
Literally, and we get like an official confirmation of the switched at birth.
We do, yes.
To
In
our
this book.
knowledge, we haven't gotten a confirmation of yet.
Yeah, we hadn't gotten a confirmation before this, right?
Yeah, this is kind of the canonical kind of confirmation that there was a switch that happened that Adwo and Anshi agreed upon, given like their kind of two circumstances that just made it make sense for them. Anshi didn't want to look at this baby because of the circumstances under which this baby was conceived, which we get a flashback of in season 2. The reason that the emperor shuttered himself away for the rest of his life was because of what happened. And then in the case of Adwo, just her realizing that like her kid would live a better life being, you know, the emperor's brother than he would just being like the son of like a kind of nobody, like in terms of Adwo's kind of position. Like she doesn't come from a super strong family. She doesn't have any kind of backing. So yeah.
I love how it's written kind of like an unspoken, like, it just for I was getting like major like girl boss vibes. Like they bring up the idea, kinda, not really. It's like, wow, they look so alike. Hey, servants, get the fuck out of here. They
Yeah.
dismiss all of the ladies, and then Aduo just picks up the wrong baby when she leaves, and then they just don't say anything about it.
Yeah, like she's just like, what if we swapped them? And they're like, let's do it. Like
But they
Anshi
don't
knows
say
ball.
it.
Like
Yeah.
she was just completely fine with it, and it's very interesting.
Because she looked at Lady Aduo's baby with like actual affection and warmth. Yeah. And then R.I.P. that baby.
Yeah, and I'm very like interested in the Emperor and Aduo's dynamic because that epilogue was very interesting, how she was kind of thinking of the promise made to her that like if he was to marry someone, he'd want to marry her, and now with the information that he married Gyogyo, like, and she's still like, she's there with Jinshi, like helping him pick his wife, like very interesting dynamics with them.
I love that, though. I love that she's there watching her son pick a wife from a distance.
And disguised as a man.
And disguised as a man still. Anyway.
Very interesting.
So the first question, you know what? And upon reflection, after reading the book, I cooked with these book club questions.
You did.
Thank you. No chat GPT required. That was all
Period.
from the old noggin. Okay. Has the change in setting affected the tone or vibe of the story, and in what way? And then, no, it hasn't. That was my experience. That's what I was worried about.
I think if anything, it only impacted it for the better.
Yeah.
Like, we got to see more of Jinshi and Maomao's dynamic, and I'm loving the, like, banquet, the grand banquet setting.
Yeah, that's gonna be, like, the end of, like, core 1, right? Like, the mid-finale.
I would say so, yeah, with the way that it goes. And then 6 will be the next core after, because they do two usually for a whole season. But yeah, I love an away episode, so I have no complaints when characters are outside of their kind of designated setting. I think also when you take the palace out of the equation, you lose some of like the social proprieties that these characters are bound by. So like you wouldn't get like Li Shu lying, like putting her head in Odwo's lap if they were in the rear palace or just like in the Imperial Palace in general. But they're in a carriage just in the middle of nowhere. So it's fine and it's appropriate and it's okay. So yeah, I enjoyed it for that. You see a lot of different sides to characters in this one because of the away episode nature of like the entire light novel. Like you get to see Basim just being really strong. Like that's just his situation. We also see that him and Lishu like each other. That's a lot of fun to get that revelation that there is something brewing there. And yeah, just getting to see Odwo and Lishu's relationship is also a lot of fun.
Also, bro code.
Yeah. Li Shu was was a surprising addition this book for me.
Mm-hmm.
Very
I like
interesting.
that she's still a character.
Yeah.
I like when we like she's less one-dimensional than she is made out to be originally. I think.
Yeah, we get to see more of her. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
and growing up, and apparently she's not a child, like she kind of is drawn to be. She's 16 and of marriageable age. Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, like at this point she is, because I think she starts off like the beginning of the series being around like 14, 15 years old. So yeah, now she's 16. We also learned that Odwo and her mom were friends. So that's like, you get context for like why she's even in the rear palace in this harem in the first place when the emperor has no interest in her. It's like, it was done as like a protective measure because, you know, they knew her mom and they wanted to be able to keep her safe in a way that her father was not going to keep her safe, as we can see, considering she's not his favorite daughter by a long shot. So
yeah, that was a very interesting reveal. It kind of felt like there was a little bit of a throuple situation going on with the Oduo emperor and her mom.
Yeah, that's
like
the
it sounded
vibe
like
I was
Oduo
getting.
wanted her mom to like be with the emperor.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the vibe
I don't know. Are
getting.
we reading into that?
Interesting. No, I mean, maybe potentially, but I don't know if like Li Shu and Li Shu's mom and the emperor ever were involved. Though I don't think they were. I feel like maybe Odwo kind of gunned for it because she was like, "Oh, this is a noble woman who like this could work potentially." But I don't know if it was ever. I don't know. Think anything ever happened, or I don't think we're confirmed that anything happened between them.
Okay, I thought maybe that might have been part of why there was like the vibe that like, Oduo was so like protective of Li Shu, because it was kind of like, I mean, I guess it is like her friend's like daughter type deal, so that still tracks.
Yeah, I really liked that. That addition was really like when Li Shu was like, I used to like sit on his knee as a child.
Yeah.
Like that's very interesting. Like I feel like that made a lot make sense.
Like he's never visited her like, at all as a concubine.
And they only took her back as a concubine to protect her.
And she's like, hey, is that my dad, by the way?
No, she's like, please let that be my dad.
Also, not her like brain working like just like a little bit faster than maybe Jinshi's is.
Yeah, literally.
Is that my dad? No? Okay,
wrong person.
Just checking.
Yeah, no, he was never going to visit her. I think from what I remember, the plan was really just that they would find a better match for her and find like a person for her to be with who would, you know, take care of her and keep her safe. Because her family.
And does Blossom qualify? Is he allowed to choose a wife?
You'll find out.
God damn it. All right.
Stay tuned for next light novel book club, maybe?
Next book club in January. Okay. Maomao isn't technically anyone's servant anymore, and as far as we know, no longer in debt to the Verdigris house. How's her attitude in regards to power shifted at all? And my reading was, yeah, she's a lot more bossy now. She's a lot more willing to, like, give people orders, especially, the kid, oh my god, C.H.
Cho?
Yeah. Because she and her dad basically...
The little brat.
Yeah, she and her dad switched roles, and now he's in the rear palace, and she's being an apothecary and raising, like, this kid who's not her kid, but she's basically raising him now. And so I think that has just automatically, it's kind of like weird how easily she took on that role and like that position of authority and is like, this kid needs clothes. I'm gonna get him clothes. This kid like needs to work on his skills, like something practical so that he can have a job. And he needs to like earn his way. Like she like very easily takes on that role. And then like also with her brother figure, she's very willing to like boss him around basically.
Yeah, she is definitely like, she's come into her power a little bit more, and I think part of it is probably because she does feel so comfortable at the Verdigris house, and she knows like what she's allowed to do and like what boundaries she can cross and what's like allowed and what's appropriate. And so she knows like she can be that person that's like in charge.
What about you? How do you think she's like, do you think she's being like, does she feel more powerful to you now?
I think, yeah, to a certain degree. Like, I think it's a mix of a lot of different things. The first being that she's back on her home turf. Like, we haven't seen her kind of in her home environment really ever for an extended period of time. The last time she was back in the Pleasure District was when she went back for her homecoming with Lihaku. So, and that was back in season 1. So we haven't seen her back here again. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see her kind of in her regular environment, just like going to the Verdigris house, eating breakfast with them, getting served locusts, not liking them and stuff like that, and seeing her kind of raising this kid as like her ward almost, I feel like, and like, you know, dealing with him and, you know, observing how he's adapting to this new life post his memory loss. And I think, yeah, I think that's part of it. I think the fact that she's no longer technically in service to anybody changes things a lot as far as her dynamic with everybody goes. And also, I just think like getting more comfortable with Jinshi with how long it's been at this point that they have known each other. Like we're coming up on what? I want to say it's been like 2 years almost at this point. Since they first met. So I think that's part of it. And then also just taking away like the palace setting in this one and having them be just like normal people, especially because they're kind of they're kind of covered during this entire journey is a very different dynamic where Maomao is supposed to be this like noble person and Jinshi's supposed to be her servant. So I think all of that like together, you're seeing Maomao be a lot more authoritative than you did in kind of previous like arcs of the story where she was in service to either Gyokyo or to Jinshi on like a formal level basis.
And she like fits into it really easily, and it makes me think, wow, Mama's like really good in a position of power actually. Interesting. It's like almost like maybe she is actually more of a princess of the clan than she maybe wants to admit. I'm just saying. And I love that it's like such a normal thing for Jinshi to be visiting her, that they just like, yeah, the guy who's wearing the mask, is he coming today, or when was the last time you talked? Like it's just such a regular thing that they like basically expect him like at any moment now. And I'm just like, oh, it's cute. He's like a collar.
Yeah, and he's like he feels fine, like he can just go do it, and like she is just like used to it. It's just really cute. They just are like basically dating at this point.
And she prescribes him a nap. She prescribes him a nap.
Yep.
And he's like, are you at least gonna read me a story?
Well, when he's like, he's like, I won't be in the bed alone, surely. And she's like, well, of course not. We have all these virgin women for you. And he's like, that's not what I meant.
He's losing his mind.
Dude, she is so oblivious. It's bad.
It's so funny. Okay. Let's see. I mean, okay, I'm gonna skip to here. New side characters that we should make note of and previous side characters affecting the plot.
Oh my god, so many. Like, this was, I feel like, the most random side characters I never expected in this book.
Like the
quack doctor, and then his whole family.
Anti-quack.
Anti-quack was insane.
Anti-quack is so cute, and how, like, that family's dealing with a Romeo and Juliet situation, and Mama's like, I do not have time for this.
Literally. Maomao the cat comes back.
Oh, we love Maomao the cat. I haven't seen her in ages.
Also, freaking Otuo, Li Shu, FRIEREN is back.
Oh yeah, FRIEREN. Oh, and FRIEREN and Maomao are like besties?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. Like,
they really are.
They're two peas in a pod.
And I love that. I love that they're besties because like are so similar and like their circumstances are pretty similar and they have the same interests. And then like I love seeing Maomao like with a friend who's like on the same page as her, especially like intellectually. And they both have like these memories of this person that they care about and lost. And like no one else really gets it but those two. Which like I did mark any time that Maomao remembered her.
Which was a good amount.
Yeah.
In the beginning, once they're on the road, she doesn't think about her very much.
Yeah. Well, when she thinks about the hairpin with Jinshi, I feel like she was also thinking about
that. Okay, yes, that is true.
But
she was like, at first I thought maybe the hairpin I lost made its way back to me.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's actually kind of devastating now that I phrase it like that.
No, literally.
I wish I didn't do that.
What's the guy's name that we saw at the end of season 2 that now has come back that she danced with?
Oh, the
Riku-san.
Yeah. So he's the brown-haired guy, right? And at the end of season 2?
He's the one that dances with her at the banquet. Yeah, like when he.
But like, where do we see him in the?
We saw him at the end of the anime, right?
I believe so, because he's Lahan's like assistant. Like they work together. He works very closely with the Law family. That's kind of his situation. I feel like you probably saw him towards the end in the battle at some point in passing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy because I saw everybody like freaking out, like excited when he showed up
like
in the anime.
Bangs. Yeah, I think you've seen
and he
him.
has like brown hair.
He has the swoop.
Yes.
He's the new cutie.
Yes, when he showed up, we were like, "Oh, who's this cute guy who has a line of dialogue?"
So that can now add to why Jinshi was so jealous.
Oh,
because he's
hot.
a cutie.
He's cute. He's sassy. He's a lot of fun.
When I was reading it, I was picturing an older man.
Oh, no.
Riku-san's like young and handsome. He's young, he's handsome, he's sassy. He works very closely with the Law clan. He gives Maomao a reality check and is like, you need to stop pretending like you are this common girl. You're not. Yeah, and he also like, it makes Jinshi jealous. And he's like, who are you dancing with? Because you don't dance. Like, you're not much of a dancer. So what are you doing?
That makes so much more sense now.
That's so sad that you didn't know that.
No, because
you're just picturing an old man. You're like, why would Jinshi be jealous?
Maomao was dancing with an old man.
Like a Gaoxuan type figure, because like I know that Maomao kind of had like a little crush on Gaoxuan, so I was like, maybe she just likes older men.
Nah, nope. He's young. He's probably like in his 20s.
And he's really cute. I remember when we saw him and we were like, ooh.
I thought you knew. I would have made it more clear to you.
I thought you knew.
I think really the last thing we should discuss is, do we have any predictions for the next novel, or are there any moments that felt like they were going to be foreshadowing?
Okay. Well, first of all, I love that we had the foreshadowing of the famine that we're about to have back when we had Shisui and talking about the, like, when they were having their fox party. That's wrong, but you know what I mean. Where she was eating both, like, the locust and, like, the grasshopper, whatever. And then she was like, this one's bad and this one's good. And then it's like, oh, when it gets brought up later on, it's like, oh, we saw this happening. And it just makes, like, her whole thing about, like, her fascination with bugs so much more, like, important, because it's because of that Maomao has, like, the knowledge to go searching for this information about the famine. Oh my god, ecology turned into, like, such a big, like, plot issue, because it's like, well, we love to hunt the birds that eat the locusts, so there's not enough birds to eat the bad ones, so how are we gonna fix this? Anyways, yeah, ecology. So yeah, a past character turned out to be super important for future events, and like, of course we already knew that, because of course we know that this is a story that doesn't just throw in filler. Everything's important, but it's just so cool to, like, see it come around that way.
From, like, so long ago.
Yeah!
Like, everything's because we have already been realizing, especially second season, we really realized, like, everything is connected, everything has its purpose, but, like, it's even connecting, like, this far out. Like, that's really fun. That's really cool.
And in the future.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where it's going from here. Like, I am like, Jinshi and Maomao could, like, start to get together more formally, but, like, probably not. But, like, she could go that direction. She could. What I'm guessing is probably there will be a reason for Jinshi to not have to choose his wife right away. there will be something like that.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, he can use the lion incident as an excuse to be like, well, I can't choose a wife under these conditions. And then, like, not formally choose Maomao yet, because clearly she's still, I don't want to say putting up resistance, but, like, that she's not down. She's not down to get married, clearly, yet. So he could just be like, okay, fine, then I'm not going to choose a wife yet. Blah blah blah, and then the lion is an excuse, and then they have to figure out who is trying to kill Li Shu again, and then arrest them. Which I guess we obviously know, but
yeah.
Or he could be like, I choose this lady, and then Maomao, and then Maomao's gonna be like, I didn't sign up for that, and then she could be like, hey, freak. I don't like it when you call me your daughter, but can you yell at him or something?
That's what we were gonna ask her. It wasn't about. I was like, that is not what we were gonna ask her. We need to know. Please explain to us. Hopefully you know. What is the issue with Lakan not wanting her, like, he'd be mad if she was with Jinshi.
Okay, because...
Like, wouldn't he want his daughter to marry into the royal family?
Yeah, because she's thinking here, he's like, you'd be a safe choice too. And she's like, no, you'd be making an enemy out of you-know-who, her father. And it's like, okay, technically, no, that clan doesn't have ties to anyone, but he is working with the royal family right now. So wouldn't anyone else be like, yes, marry the
Everyone else is trying
prince.
to throw their daughter at him. What's the issue with Lakan?
Like, it can't just be that he's, like, super overprotective or whatever. Like, so do you know what the problem would be? Like, why is that politically a bad idea?
So as far as I know, because I don't know, because a lot of what we've seen so far is, like, Lakan just doesn't like him. That's a huge... Like, Lakan doesn't like him. He doesn't rock with them. I think the other thing is that the Law family doesn't have a tie to a faction, and that's not, as far as I understand, by accident. Like, that's, like, an intentional choice that's been made to not have any kind of ties. Like, Lakan's ties to the military. Like, that's his thing. Like, he is a strategist. Like, that is... But they don't have any alliance, right? Like, in the way that some of the other clans are aligned with each other, there is no alliance. And that's why people don't mess with him. Like, that's why people don't fuck with Lakan, because they, like, he doesn't have any, like, there's nothing that holds him back from making certain decisions aside from the well-being of his own clan, because he's not answering to anybody else. And I think the thing is that while it's not necessarily a bad thing strategically to have Jinshi marry the daughter of the Law clan, because again, you don't then have to, like, accommodate for, like, a huge faction. At the same time, that means the Law clan now has to answer to the royal family, like, because they're aligned with the royal family, which means their interests are now aligned. So I feel like it's just one of those things where it could be good, it could be bad. I think it just depends on, like, the circumstances and, like, what is going on. But I think that, like right now it's kind of about Lakan's feelings, but, like, as the story progresses, you'll see that there are, like, other contingencies outside of Lakan that make this relationship complicated.
Okay.
But there's actually, like, a legitimate reason that it is complicated, and it has to do with someone else.
Oh,
okay.
So,
okay, fine.
Okay.
I'm willing to, like, let that go. Okay, I'm willing
as long
to, like,
as there's
wait and
reasons.
see. No, but, like, yeah.
Beyond that, I think, like, the rationale for why Jinshi and Maomao being together is fickle is something that you will learn about, and it's, like, an actual, like, legitimate reason that does make sense.
Okay.
But I will say, like, it's about power. Like, I think the other thing that we've seen so far in the Apothecary Diaries is that everything is this very, like, delicate dance. Like, even the way concubines navigate their lives in the Rear Palace is a delicate dance. I think power and the distribution of power is a delicate dance. So the certain marriages can be advantageous. They can also throw off power. They can also maybe, like, it'll get interesting. I think that the political intrigue definitely gets, like, more kind of in your face as the light novels go on, from what I understand. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. But there is a reason. There is a reason that it's fickle for Jinshi and Maomao to be together, beyond Maomao's hesitation, beyond, like, this matchmaking situation, beyond Lakan. Like, there's another reason.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of, it's gonna take, like, all my self-control to just not Google it because like, I don't want to get spoiled. I want to experience the story, but also I really want to know why. Also, I think I have now that you say that, I have a theory, but I'm scared to say the theory because it's either like stupid or it's exactly what it is. So
okay, yeah, maybe keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the book. Did you have any final thoughts about this one overall, or what we have to come, or anything?
I love this light novel. It's my favorite one that I've read so far. I love the Western province. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very interesting as a desert climate. I think it's fun how we kind of understood why one of Gyokyo's ladies in waiting doesn't like baths and like bathing and being naked around people, but I think this setting helps to provide further context where it's like, yeah, they're not taking these like big baths and all together in this climate because it's a desert. So that's fun, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what is to come. I'm excited, especially I think at the end of this light novel, after the whole Jin Mao thing happens in the epilogue, we get Ajo's little piece where she's like, where there's this like idea of making her mother of the nation, which I think is fun. Like it ties into some previous stuff that's happened in light novels where I believe it's in one of the first light novels because I'm reading it for YouTube, but there's a point where Maomao is like, like Audwa would be really good at this. Like she would be really good at like ruling people. Like she has the kind of resilience and the kind of spirited nature that's required to be in this type of position of power. And then to hear the fact that like her and the Emperor have had this conversation is a lot of fun. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens with their dynamic, especially now that we know for sure that like Jinshi is their kid. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for more of that to like play out.
I love that like we get like little snippets of Aduo and the Emperor because like they can't tell us too much because then we'll just know everything and that's not a fun story. But I love like just like the little taste that we get. And like I love how like they're in different places right now, but in both of their like POVs when they're thinking about it, it feels like they're on the same page still.
Well, and I love that she's even aware of Jinshi and Maomao. And you know the Emperor is too. Like it's really sweet that they
ship it.
They can tell. Like they know.
They are in support, I feel, and he's like, yeah, the Emperor told me to make a good choice.
And have fun.
And make a good choice and make good choices like your parents, like when you're about to go out to prom. Make good choices.
And have fun. Yeah, this was such a good one.
I loved it a lot more than the last one, and maybe it's just because I haven't seen it yet. But I also just, like, loved, like, the buildup of drama. Like, it starts out so normal and casual, and then it's like, oh my god, this escalated very insanely. And that's, like, my favorite type of, like, I don't know, like, I can't wait to see it animated.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool to see it animated. I'm so excited.
Me too. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, this is so fun.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much to Yumna again, and thank you guys for all watching. That was so fun.
Yeah, we had a lot to say, as always. And I feel like I feel like we could go on.
We could go on forever and ever. We already went over our 30 minutes, as always.
Yeah. But yeah, this book was amazing. We'll be getting into light novel 6 in January because we're taking all of December off.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, that's not true.
Yeah, we do have a little special treat for you guys in December.
Call it a Christmas present.
Exactly.
Call it a holiday special.
Exactly. We had a Jujutsu Kaisen movie holiday special last year. We have another one this year. That's the tradition, apparently.
Yeah, and so we'll be going to see the Jujutsu Kaisen Execution movie in theaters, and we'll have that spoiler review out in January. Or, no, in December. And then we'll be taking the rest of the month off. But that gives you plenty of time to rewatch or binge all of FRIEREN, so that when we start our weekly reviews of that in January, you are all caught up and or refreshed.
Exactly. So we're going to be recapping FRIEREN Season 2 starting in January. The Monday after the new season comes out, we will be there with a recap, of course. Make sure you guys sign up for our book club newsletter, by the way. just so you can be reminded once we know like when the episode will come out in January and when we'll be recording. We'll send out those discussion questions and all that info so that you can be a part of it.
Yeah, you can be a part of it. You can get our discussion questions. You can reply with your thoughts, and then we will throw them into the discussion. And also, if you haven't signed up yet, you can still get free Anime for Blondes Book Club bookmarks.
Yes, they're so cute.
They're super cute. But thanks so much for joining us, and then we'll see you at the next book club meeting in January. Make sure you follow us on social media for all of these updates and more at Anime for Blondes Pod on TikTok and Instagram.
And make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Turn on notifications, leave a review, leave a comment. Let us know if you read this and what your thoughts were. We really want to know.
Yeah, and we'll engage in the comments.
Yes, of course, as always. And have a good, if we don't see you until January, have a good holiday season, guys.
Have a good holiday season. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Anime for Blondes.